How's it feel to be here, Manuel? It's a little overpowering, you realize. We've been meeting with local area pioneers, like our Capuno, for other recent weeks, simply attempting to sort out what we could do. This as Maui is reeling, yet attempting to reconstruct each and everything they have. And they're residing broadcasting live sleeping pad, and a bunk, and a seat. The entire town of Lahaina is no more, and I would constantly ask individuals, what is it that you truly need to do everything possible to assist you with recuperating, revamp, and get back to your life? So we figured beginning the asset with 10 million bucks would be smart. Oprah Winfrey has at long last shouted out about the chat encompassing her supposed land snatches in Maui. Well, this is a truly extraordinary point about being more joyful amidst a surge of being threatened and criticized. Oprah proceeded to discuss how all the backfire prompted some reflection. Imagine a scenario in which I didn't actually have any idea who I'm. Consider the possibility that I didn't have the confirmation of Invictus, that I am the expert of my own confidence. It's obvious that she feels as such, thinking about what local people need to say regarding her. And this is the thing we get: no one call us. Our telephones didn't work from 5 a.m. 10 o'clock. When I went to work, the fire was still there. We were unable to try and have our minister come in and inquire as to whether we want supplication in the earliest reference point. Yet Oprah could come in. Who is she? And when you think about a portion of the things Oprah did that elevated doubt around her, it's difficult to feel frustrated about her. We were so worried about the thing was occurring. You're so worried about what's going on in Maui that you some way or another figured out how to employ a private firefighting group to safeguard your property. Who is she? Who is she? They said. Gracious, she knows the lead representative. We didn't require her in there in Bowen High. Get her out. Oprah Winfrey tended to a portion of the internet-based analysis. She and Dwayne Johnson looked in the wake of sending off their kin's asset of Maui. The asset was set up to give monetary guide to those impacted by the fierce blazes on the Hawaii island. Winfrey and Johnson at first put in 10 million bucks and welcomed people in general to contribute towards the reason anyway. A few pundits addressed why the high-profile superstars didn't subsidize the whole undertaking themselves during a new appearance on CBS Mornings. Winfrey recognized the web-based conversations and said every one of the web-based discussions being pummeled lies, paranoid fears, truly removed the concentration from what was overwhelmingly significant, and that was individuals of Maui. I was on the ground conversing with loads of individuals, attempting to sort out how would I best assistance. She proceeded to make sense of that. At first, she gave actual things like generators and towels. Yet as she drew in with the impacted people, she understood they needed direct inclusion. Winfrey shared an article about Cartparton's drive after the 2017 out-of-control fires in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, where assets were straightforwardly conveyed to the impacted individuals. Roused by this, they chipped away at the framework for the Maui asset to guarantee cash could be straightforwardly kept into individuals' records. They thought about how they have both given to good cause their entire resides, and wanted to begin with 10 million bucks worked on the grounds that it was sufficient to dismiss things from prior to opening the Maui. Rapidly spreading fires store up to individuals who needed to help yet didn't have the foggiest idea how. In spite of confronting analysis, Winfrey underlined the benefit of putting cash straightforwardly under the control of those in need. She noticed that 2,200 people have been checked to get support from individuals' asset of Maui, building up her faith in the viability of the drive. At first, Oprah and Dwayne "the Stone" Johnson stood out as truly newsworthy by reporting they had used 5 million bucks to make what they called individuals' asset of Maui. This move caused a stir, as it seemed to go against Oprah's previous responsibility of a 10 million gift from Maui's fire casualties. Oprah endeavored to reveal insight into the circumstance by expressing the foundation is set up for your gifts to assist individuals with having the option to have their own cash, have their own organization anyway. Her clarification left many scratching their heads, as it appeared to be that main portion of the guaranteed $10 million was straightforwardly going to those in need ensuing improvements, have added to the disarray with the stone currently engaging for extra gifts to help the Maui fire casualties. This disclosure uncovered that the underlying $5 million was basically reserved as startup capital for their venture. This normally asks the inquiry, for what reason are citizens presently being approached to contribute, when it was at first introduced as a significant direct gift. Basically, it appears to be that Oprah and the Stones' $5 million were utilized to make a framework to get further gifts a cycle, like sending off a common organization. This raises questions about whether the full $10 million was at any point expected to give quick help to the casualties. Another disturbing perspective is the disclosure that the Maui store is claimed and worked by media outlets. Establishment EF, a non-benefit association EF chiefs, get significant pay rates, with the president, chief, and CFO procuring huge yearly totals. Moreover, 13 chiefs, all in all, procure $2 million every year, while below laborers procure a normal of 6,4,527 yearly. These disclosures have prompted developing hypotheses about Oprah and the Stones' actual expectations. Some are starting to address whether this may be to a greater extent an exposure stunt, especially thinking about the asset overseen by EF has supposedly just gave $1,200 to people in need. Besides the proposal to have citizens give month-to-month promotions, one more layer of vulnerability, recommending that the $10 million at first credited to Oprah and the Stone might have basically filled in as startup capital for the asset, as opposed to prompt guide for the casualties. Maybe what makes this a considerably more unpleasant fact is that certain individuals have blamed Oprah Winfrey for going to outrageous lengths to safeguard her 200 section of land Hawaiian property from the serious, rapidly spreading fires that cleared across the island neighborhood. Maui occupants have voiced their disappointment, guaranteeing that she focused on shielding her property over the prosperity of the impacted networks during the out-of-control fire emergency. A TikTok video that became a web sensation claimed that Winfrey had employed a private firefighting group before the fires even began, redirecting critical assets from supporting those in need, adding to the debate when reports arose that her property stayed safe by the fierce blazes. A few people even blamed her for possibly playing a part in beginning the burst on Twitter. A client posted a photograph of Winfrey before her Maui house with a crate of vegetables, recommending that her property marvelously got away from harm, while others experienced this ignited paranoid ideas about her contribution in the fierce blaze. Another virtual entertainment client guaranteed that Winfrey had fundamentally extended her property possessions in Maui over the course of the years, while adjacent homes were crushed by the fierce blazes, raising doubts about her job in the emergency. These charges concurred with reports from about 14 days earlier, where Maui local people brought up issues about the treatment of a fire brought about by a brought-down power line. They addressed why it wasn't successfully held back and was permitted to reignite, adding to the catastrophe. Inhabitants contended that more might have been finished to forestall the misfortune and save lives. One occupant expressed for what reason did they leave in the event that they could stand by an hour or 30 minutes. They might have saved every other person. At first, the Maui local group of firefighters answered the wildfire, yet occupants guarantee they saw the fire beginning from a brought-down influence line in spite of early departures. The fire was at first pronounced 100% contained exclusively to later eruption, causing broad obliteration. Constant inquiries weighed about why the fire teams left the scene so rapidly, particularly taking into account the known danger of high breezes. Anyway, official examinations concerning the reason for the fierce blaze have not exactly yielded results. Many TikTokers have been pointing fingers at tycoons like Oprah Winfrey, blaming them for coordinating the fires to procure significant land in Maui from native populaces, a hypothesis that stems from Oprah's acquisition of 2,000 sections of land on the island in Walk 2023. As per the cases, Ulupo Water Farm sold bigger properties of roughly 520 sections of land and 330 sections of land to Winfrey's Los Angeles, put together firm Harpo Inc. with respect to February 10th for 389 million bucks in 47 million bucks. Separately, this hypothesis raises legitimate worries about occupants losing their homes and confronting lodging deficiencies anyway. It's pivotal to take note of that. While connivance scholars recommend an arranged land, yet there's no demonstrated connection among Winfrey and the fire. As a matter of fact, the superstar has been seen visiting survivor camps to help those impacted, tending to the paranoid ideas and worries about land snatches. Lead Representative Josh Green required a